Hey guys, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Trifecta ALX on this 2019 new body style Chevy Silverado. Now this is the same install for the GMC Sierra. We're going to show you how to install it with or without the Multi-Pro tailgate. For this installation, your kit will include a T20 Torx and a 2.5mm Allen wrench. You'll also need a ratchet with a 1/2-inch socket, and if you have the Multi-Pro tailgate, you'll need a 13mm socket. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so this is exactly the way the cover comes out of the box. What we're doing is we're setting it on top of the bed caps. Make sure that your buckles and clips are faced up and pointing towards the cab. What we want to do is make sure it's all the way over our bulkhead and center it side to side. All right, now that we've got it nice and centered and even, we're going to go ahead and undo our clips and gently fold it to the tailgate to get it lined up back here. All right, once we have it centered front to back and side to side, we're going to go ahead and gently fold it to the front. Make sure not to throw off our alignment. Now we can reach underneath and attach it to the bed caps. All right, now we're up underneath the cover right next to our bed cap. Now you'll notice first off, we've got a plastic bed cap cover that goes over top of the metal flange from the factory. Some applications, that plastic bed cap cover will actually hang down below that metal flange. If that's the case, you'll need to trim a little bit of that black plastic bed cap out. Use something like a utility knife. That way we're clamping directly onto metal flange and not just onto plastic bed cap cover. That's real common on things like F-150 and Ram applications. This one right here, we don't have to do that, so I'm going to go directly into attaching the clamp. So I go ahead and undo the rubber band holding all this in place, and we can discard that. Now we can take our jaw clamp, slide it over to the side of the bed cap, and once it's hooked underneath the bed cap, we can start turning that clamp. That will start drawing the cover down to the bed cap. Now don't over tighten this, but we do want to get it nice and snug. The point is we want to compress the seal on the side and just get it nice and tight enough to where it's not moving around when we pull on the load bar. Now we've got our safety tether. We're going to slide that over. We're going to undo the screw to spread that apart. And now we can bite down onto the bed cap with this clamp that is self-contained. And we're going to repeat that entire process on the opposite side. All right, so here we are back at the tailgate, and I'm on the passenger side. Here is where our stake hole pocket is up top. What we're going to need to do is install our striker plate up against where that stake hole pocket is on the inside of the bed. So I've got a bed rug. I'm going to go ahead and peel that back. If you have a plastic drop-in bed liner, you'll probably have to notch out an area here. But what I like to do with this, I'm going to go ahead and remove this portion. So I'm going to take my 1/2-inch wrench and ratchet and loosen that up, and that just slides right out. Next, I'm going to take my 1/2-inch again, loosen up this bolt, and pull it out. I've got a bolt plate on the back, or it's a threaded plate the bolt goes through. So I'll pull that apart, and now I'm going to take the plate, I'm going to drop it down into the stake pocket hole, and you'll notice it lines up to a hole down here. Now, I want to make sure that this drops down and it comes back up underneath the plastic inside, so it's not pushing against that plastic. Next, I'm going to take this bracket and slide it in place. I'm going to take my bolt and washer and install them right through the hole under the stake pocket. Now, if that hole underneath there has a plug in it, just pull that plug out and discard it. So what I've done here, this bracket now has this channel, but I've got it snug up against the bottom of the bed cap cover. And I'm using the 1/2 inch to go ahead and tighten that down. Get that nice and snug. Next, I can go ahead and take my striker plate, and these bolts will slide into that channel. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now that that's lined up, I can go ahead and move my bed rug back into place. Get that refastened. And now I can come back and tighten this down whenever I adjust it at the back. All right, now on the driver's side, our bracket is completely different and installs differently, and that's because this is made to work with the Chevy without the Multi-Pro tailgate, or a GMC that might be equipped with a Multi-Pro tailgate, because there would be a handle here. So I'm going to show you first how to install it on the Chevy or just a truck without the Multi-Pro, then switch over and show you how it works with the Multi-Pro. So again, first I'm going to go ahead and peel back my bed rug. Now I'm going to take these bolts out. I've got a threaded plate. It's actually a double threaded plate on the back of here. The bolts go into. All right, the double threaded plate goes down into our stake pocket hole, and make sure that our threaded holes line up with these 2 holes in the side of the bed. Next, we're going to take our bracket, line that up, and run our bolts through. Just get them nice and finger tight for right now. We still need to adjust this later. Right. Now, if you have the Multi-Pro tailgate, you'll have 2 13mm nuts from the factory that come off, and the bracket's going to go on top of those bolts and then put those factory nuts in place. We'll tighten it back down whenever we set everything in place. All right, now we can go ahead and fold the cover back to the tailgate and adjust our latch assembly. Okay, let me go ahead and show you what we need to adjust and tighten down. First, we have our rotary handle, we've got our latch, and we've also got our striker. So the first thing we want to do is line up the latch to the striker, raise the striker up to the latch, and let it latch in place. All right, now once we make sure this bracket is nice and level with the striker, we can go ahead and tighten that down using a 1/2 inch. If you don't have the Multi-Pro tailgate, if you've got the Multi-Pro tailgate, you would be using the 13mm to tighten down the factory bolts. We're going to get this to about 22 foot-pounds. All right, now that our latch is in place, we're going to use our provided T20 Torx wrench, and we've got 2 screws on the sides of the latch housing that need to be tightened down to lock it in place in the rail. We're going to go ahead and tighten those down. Just get them nice and snug. Now repeat the same process on the opposite side for the latch and the striker. Okay, I've gone ahead and flipped this over just so you guys can get a better angle at what's going on here. We've got our rotating handle. If you notice, as I rotate this handle, these actuators move in and out of the cables that are here. Each cable goes to a latch. So what we're going to do is we're going to position that handle where we want it. I'm going to set it right here. We're going to use our same T20 Torx wrench to tighten down the 2 screws. All right, now we need to go ahead and tighten down our actuators so they can pull the latches. Also in our kit will be included a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. What we're going to do is make sure these cables are fully engaged into the actuators. Just go right through the top of the actuator and get it nice and snug. Do that on both sides. All right, and just test the operation. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.